first purchase of drugs for Kouri Richins from Susan Kohler, okay? How did Kouri Richins approach you about purchasing drugs?
She had reached out and asked if I could do her a favor, and I said, yeah, probably, what is it? And then she had called me and asked me if I could reach out to somebody for some pain meds for an investor, and I told her I could see what I could do. So I knew Susan Kohler was still using at the time, an active user still. And then Susan Kohler reached back and told me she knew somebody that had some pain meds.
Ms. Lauber, I need you to speak up. Thank you.
Sorry.
How did you know Susan Kohler?
She used to work. She was working for Doreen at the time.
And how did you know Susan Kohler was an active user at that time?
Because that's one of the reasons why I quit working with Doreen, because they were still active users.
So you had worked with her at the time?
Yes.
Knew she was an active user?
Over the year, yeah.
When did Kouri Richins approach you that first time to get drugs?
February 11th, February 10th, right around there.
Was it February or was it January?
Was it early February?
Early February?
In January, early February.
Okay, so sorry.
It's okay.
About what time? Month? Beginning month, end of month? Was it end of January, early February, late February? When was it?
Early February.
And would that be 2022?
Yes.
How about the money for the drugs? Did Kouri Richins front you money for the drugs?
For Susan?
For Susan, I'm only talking about Susan
Okay.
Kohler now. I think that might be confusing.
Yeah, no.
I'm only talking about Susan Kohler.
Okay. No, she did not. I had given Susan the money.
Okay, how much money?
$600.
What drugs did you ask Susan Kohler? What type of drug did you ask Susan Kohler for on Kouri Richins' behalf?
Just some kind of pain pillar, an opiate.
Okay. And you gave Susan Kohler $600 of your money?
Yes.
What in return did Susan Kohler give you?
A couple hours later, she had returned back to my house with an envelope full of pills.
Okay, what type of envelope?
Just a mailing envelope.
The normal letter?
Just a white envelope, yeah.
Okay. Did you look in the envelope?
No.
How did you know it was full of pills?
Susan told me that's what was in there.
Did you feel the envelope?
Yeah.
Did it feel like there were pills in
Yeah,
it?
they were just little round pills.
What did you do next?
Then I had texted Kouri and told her that I had got some pills for her and asked her what she wanted me to do with them. Told me she would. It was late when Susan returned, so she showed up in my driveway the next morning.
Okay, when you say she showed up in your driveway,
Kouri.
Kouri Richins showed
Yes.
up in your driveway the next morning.
Yes.
Did you hand Kouri Richins the pills that next morning in your driveway?
Yes.
Did she give you any money for those pills?
Yes. She gave me back the $600 that I put up for him.
You mentioned you have part of this transaction with Kouri Richins and Susan Kohler involved text messages. Do you have any of those text messages?
No.
Do you know what happened to those text messages?
I deleted them.
Why?
Because if I had lost my phone or anybody else got a hold of my phone or anybody in drug court wanted to see my phone, it was evidence that I was not following drug court rules. I was still involved with people that were using
It was evidence that you're dealing drugs,
and
right?
participating in selling drugs.
Let's talk about the second time that you purchased drugs for Kouri Richins, which is the, am I right, the first time you purchased them from Robert Crozier?
Yes.
All right, let's talk about that first purchase from Robert Crozier. How did Kouri Richins approach you on that purchase?
She had reached out to me in text message and said that her investor needed or wanted something stronger. And I kind of told her, well, I can reach out to the people I don't know. You just can't say, hey, this is what I'm looking for. When you're buying drugs off the street, you pretty much purchase what you get. And at the time, I didn't know anybody, so I reached out to another acquaintance that I knew that was still using, which would be Nicole.
Okay, you reached out. We have to keep your voice up, please.
What's that?
Can you keep your voice up, please?
Yes.
Okay. So you reached out to an acquaintance of yours, Nicole, that you knew was still using, right?
Yes, at the time.
And is that Nicole Cummings?
Yes.
How did you reach out initially? How did you reach out to Nicole Cummings?
On Facebook Messenger. Yes, it's off my Facebook Messenger.
And is that an accurate depiction of the exchange you had with Miss Cummings?
Yes.
Miss Lauber, do you see there, blown up out of 3-3, where it says, text me, I got a question and won't do it on this?
Yes.
Did you send that message by Facebook to Miss Cummings?
Yes.
And it says on February the 5th, 2022. Is that when you sent it?
Yes.
Why did you send that message?
I was going to ask her if she knew anybody that had any pills.
And you didn't want to ask her over Facebook?
No.
Why not?
Because once again, that's showing what I'm trying to buy. Illegal activities of buying drugs.
We couldn't hear that, I'm sorry.
Illegal activity of buying drugs.
Thanks, Scott. Did you ultimately speak to Miss Cummings over the phone?
Yes, I did.
And what did you ask her?
If she knew anybody who had any opiate pills for sale.
And how did she respond?
She said yes, she had a friend that could help me.
And did she identify the friend?
Yeah, she gave me his name. She said Robbie.
And is that the Robert Crozier you've mentioned before?
Yes, it is.
Did she put you in contact with Robert Crozier?
Yeah, she gave me his number.
Did you call Robert Crozier?
Yes, I did.
What, if anything, did you ask Robert Crozier for?
If he knew anybody who had any pills, pain pills for sale.
And how did he respond?
He said he would reach out to a couple of people.
Did he ever get back to you after that?
Yes, he did.
When he got back to you, what did he say?
He said he had a buddy that had some fentanyl pills.
What then did you do?
I had texted Kouri back and told her that I had a friend that could get them, but they were fentanyl pills.
So you told Kouri you had a friend, a hookup for fentanyl pills.
Yes.
How did Kouri Richins respond?
She said, okay, go ahead and get them.
So, did you go ahead and get them?
Yes.
What was the next step in getting them?
The next step was reaching out to Robbie and tell them to go ahead and get him.
Did you arrange a time and location to purchase the pills from Robbie?
Robbie did, actually,
Okay.
because he was coming up from up north. So he had me go to a Maverick off 126 in Draper. It was closer to his person.
Let me maybe do this one more time. The text messages between you and Robbie, do you have them?
No.
Are they deleted?
Yes.
Did you delete them?
Yes.
Because they were evidence of drug distribution?
Yes.
Objection leading.
I think you're going to testify about a lot of text messages. Did you delete them all
Yes.
for the same reason?
Exactly.
Okay, so you set up to purchase fentanyl from Robert Crozier at the Maverick in Draper.
Yes.
Did you front the money for these?
No. That was more, way higher.
How much money was involved in this transaction?
$1,000?
How did the money come about? Who?
So I reached out to Kouri and told her yes, that it was going to be kind of pricey. And then so she had, I asked her how she wanted me to grab them. I had to go to the house in Midway, not the mansion, it was a Midway house that she was flipping. And that the money would be in there.
Okay. So, let me make sure I understand. Kouri Richins said she would leave you $1,000 at a small house in Midway.
Yes.
Miss Lauber, did you enter that house and get the $1,000?
Yes, I did.
How did you enter the house?
Kouri told me the back door was unlocked.
Was it?
Yes.
Did you enter through the back door?
Yes, I did.
Where inside the house was the money?
In a closet in a box with a cup of coffee cups.
Thanks, Scott. So once you got the money, what did you do next?
I had called Robbie and told him, okay, I had the money. How long it would take him to get down from where he was coming from.
Did you then drive to the Maverick and Draper?
I didn't drive at the time. I didn't have a car.
Who drove? Did somebody drive you to the Maverick?
Yes, Nancy.
Okay. Is Nancy Peters?
Yes.
Where did she drive? Where did she pick you up?
At my house in Heber, off of Center Street.
And then she drove you from your house in Heber to Maverick and Draper?
Yes, down Provo Canyon.
Down Provo Canyon. Where you were, or where you were traveling to and from when they were taken?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand what?
Can you see 3-7 on your screen?
Yes.
There's, if we scroll down, I think is it 3 or 4 photographs? Scott, can you scroll down? No, there's a whole bunch. There's 6 photographs.
I see 3 on mine.
Scroll up. There's 2 pages with 3
Okay,
each,
yeah,
is
now
that
there's
right?
total 6, yes.
Okay. And do you know where those photographs were taken?
In Nancy's car.
As you were driving from Heber to Provo Canyon? Or from Heber down through Provo Canyon to the Maverick and Draper?
Yes.
And do you see the time Scott, if you can bring one up. Do you see the time
Oh, yes.
and day on
Yes, I do.
February the 11th, 2022, beginning at 5 p.m.?
Yes.
Is that an accurate date and time for those photographs?
Yes.
Is that you in the photograph?
Yes.
Who's the dog?
That is my silver lab Hemi.
And whose car are you in?
Nancy's.
And who's driving that car?
Nancy.
Hey, D2, please, Scott. Is that you and Nancy Peterson?
Yes, it is.
Can I get D3, Scott? Another photograph of you and Nancy Peterson?
Yes, it is.
In Nancy Peterson's car,
Yes.
driving to meet up with Robert Crozier at the Draper Maverick on February the 11th, 2022?
Yes.
Meeting, Your Honor.
He's already laid foundation. Overruled.
On the way down, thanks, Scott. On the way down Provo Canyon to the Draper, did you text with Mr. Crozier?
Yes, I did.
What was the content of those texts?
Just how far out are you? How long is it going to take?
On the way down Provo Canyon, were you texting with Kouri Richins?
Yes.
What was the context of those texts?
Sorry it's taken long. I'm headed there now. I'll let you know when I leave the Maverick.
Did you end up meeting with Mr. Crozier at the Maverick?
Yes, I did.
What happened once you two met there?
He would text me and tell me what kind of vehicle he was in. I would tell him what I was in. He came up to the window. I gave him the money. He told me he'd be back like in 20, 25 minutes. And then he left the Maverick.
So the money that you gave him was the $1,000 you got from that small Midway house?
Yes.
Did he ultimately return?
Yes, he came back.
Did he have anything with him when he returned?
Yes, he did.
What did he have with him?
He handed me a little clear baggie with some pills in it, little round pills.
Can you describe, please, the baggie?
Just a little clear baggie.
Like,
Just a small.
what's small?
Kind of small, like, you know, if you buy a shirt and it has an extra button in it, that kind of size.
Gotcha. Did you see about how many pills were inside that baggie?
No, I didn't sit there and count them. It was 15 to 20 is what he told me.
Did you said they were circular?
Yes, just round.
Did you notice their color?
Kind of light green.
What did you do once he gave you the pills?
Left.
Left to where?
Back up through Provo Canyon, back up to my house in Heber.
On the way back to your home in Heber, did you exchange text messages with Kouri Richins?
Yes, I did.
What was the content of those messages?
I let her know that I had him. What did she want me to do with them? I really didn't want them with me at my house.
Did she tell you what she wanted you to do with those pills?
She responded back with, take him over to the Midway house, put him in a shed. There was 3 sheds on that property. I didn't feel comfortable leaving him in the shed out in the open. So I went to the fire pit and kind of dug a little hole and put the gravel back on top of it and then kind of turned a brick to the side to kind of cover it up.
Scott, can you bring up 8-13, please? Miss Lauber, do you recognize that photograph?
Yes.
What does it depict?
That is the house in Midway.
Is it the backyard of the house?
Yes.
Is that a fair and accurate depiction of that backyard?
Yes.
Your Honor, the state moves 813 into evidence.
No objection.
8-13 is admitted.
Scott, if you could zoom. that the shed that you just referenced?
Yes.
Is that the fire pit that you just referenced?
Yes, it is.
So you put the pills that Robert Crozier sold you, the Draper Maverick, in that fire pit?
Yes.
There's no fire at the time?
Not at the time, no. There was no fire.
Thanks, sir. I want to pause on the drug deals for a minute, okay? So we've got the Susan Kohler drug deal, the first Crozier drug deal, right? I'm going to pause. Scott, can you bring up 2-33, please? Can you split screen it with 2-34, please? Ms. Lauber, do you recognize those two documents?
Yes, I do.
What are they?
Letters from Kouri saying I did some community hours.
Did Kouri Richins give you those letters?
Yes, she did.
Are they accurate depictions of the letters that she handed you?
Yes, they are.
Your Honor, the state moves 233 and 234 into evidence.
No objection other than previous objection that is ongoing.
It's preserved by the record. It's been ruled upon. The court stands upon that ruling. Forgive me, the 2-33 and 2-34 are admitted.
Can we publish those, Scott, please, and split the screen? You mentioned, Ms. Lauber, that those are community service, those are letters, I guess, evidencing, perhaps, community service.
Yes.
What's the
I'm
genesis?
so sorry to interrupt.
Sorry.
Yeah, we just need you to speak a little louder.
What's the genesis of these letters? Why these letters?
I was late for a couple of groups, so I got sanctioned from drug court to do 10 hours of community service.
Okay. So groups, do you mean group therapy sessions?
Yes.
And because you were late to court-ordered, they're court-ordered, aren't they?
Yes.
Because you were late to court-ordered group therapy sessions in drug court, am I right, the judge sanctioned you to community service?
Yes.
Then did you approach Kouri Richins about getting community service letters?
I had asked her if she knew anywhere I could get a letter with a head on it saying that I did some community hours.
Okay. Scott, maybe pick the one on the left and blow it up so that we can just read it a little bit easier. Thank you. Is the other one similar? Maybe you just flip it out. Yep. Ms. Lauber, did Kouri Richins hand you those letters?
Yes.
Did you perform that community service?
Absolutely not.
Have you ever stepped foot on a Circle R ranch?
No, I have not.
Did you submit those community service letters to the drug court in Wasatch County?
Yes, I did.
How'd that go?
Not too well. I ended up in jail for a day and
What?
got more community hours.
Ms. Lauber, you were in drug court on a felony drug distribution charge, right?
Yes.
And you just testified that you bought drugs for Kouri Richins,
Yes.
which is more drug distribution, right?
Yes.
And you just submitted a fake letter, 2 fake letters, to the drug court judge, right?
Yes.
Why on earth would you do that?
Well, obviously didn't have time to do my community hours because I was reaching out to Robbie Kazera and picking up pills.
But why would you try to put one over on the court at all?
In the early stages of addiction, when you're slowly getting clean, you still test the waters. You're not ready to surrender yet. You're not sure about how much you can get away with and what you can't get away with.
So at that point in time, did you think you could get away with more drug distribution and fake letters?
No, not get away with it.
But you tried.
Yes, I did.
Have you since surrendered to drug court?
Absolutely.
Let's turn back to the drug deals. We've been through the first one with Miss Kohler, and the second drug deal, but the first drug deal with Robert Crozier. Let's turn to the second drug deal with Robert Crozier, okay? You all right? Want to take a minute?
No.
Did there come a time when Kouri Richins again approached you for illicit drugs?
Yes.
If you want to take a minute, let me know. We'll
No,
pause.
I'm good. I'm fine.
Okay. Do you recall about when that second time with Mr. Crozier was?
Still in February. I'm not exactly sure of the date.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. Would you just say whatever you just said again a little bit louder?
I said I'm not quite sure of the date.
When Kouri Richins approached you that second time involving Mr. Crozier, what did she ask for?
She said her investor needed something a little bit stronger. And I proceed to tell her, like, it's not something you can just, when you're buying something off the street that's man-made, you just don't say, hey, this is what I want to order. I just told her you get what you get.
Did there come a time when she asked you for the Michael Jackson stuff?
Yes.
Was that this time?
Yes.
What did you understand the Michael Jackson stuff to mean?
I actually wasn't sure. I had to Google it.
So you said there was ultimately this third buy from Robert Crozier. Did Kouri Richins give you the money up front for the third buy?
Yes, it was the Midway house still.
Was it the same way she...
Same little house in Midway.
Okay.
Back door.
Did you enter the back door of that little
Yes.
house in Midway?
Yes.
Did you get some money?
Yes.
Do you remember about how much?
About $1,000.
Was it cash?
Yes.
Was it cash the other time also?
Yes.
Once you got the $1,000 out of the small Midway house, what did you do?
I texted Robbie.
What did you say? What did you set up with Robbie over text?
Just saying, hey, does your friend still have any of those left? And then of course, it doesn't happen right then and there. I could text him and he'd say, I'll get back to you in a couple of days, I'll see what I can find out. So then when Robbie texted me back, I let Kouri know that I could get him, and then head back down, had Nancy take me once again down Provo Canyon to the Maverick on 126th.
Just like the time before.
Yes.
Like before, were you texting with Robert Crozier on the way down the canyon?
Yes.
And what was the content of those texts?
Same texts. How much longer? How far out are you? Because he always had to find a ride as well.
Were you texting on the way down Provo Canyon with Kouri Richins
Yes.
What was the content of those texts?
Same thing. Sorry it's taken long. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I'll keep you posted.
When you arrived at the Maverick, were you still texting with both Robert Crozier and Kouri Richins?
Yes, I would text Robbie and tell him I'm here at the Maverick. How much farther out are you?
And what would you text?
I would text Kouri, sorry he's taken longer than I thought.
And you deleted all of those texts?
Of course.
Did you ultimately meet up with Robert Crozier at the Draper that second time?
Yes.
What happened when you met up?
Same routine. He'd come up to the car, I'd give him the money, he'd leave again for 20-25 minutes, then he'd come back. And then he'd give me the little clear baggie with pills in it, and then we'd go our separate ways.
Can you please describe the baggie?
Clear little baggie. Just a small little clear baggie. As if you were putting an extra button in it.
Same as last time?
Yes.
Do you recall about how many pills?
15 to 20. I never stopped and counted them, but that's what he told me was in the baggie.
Were they round again?
Yes.
What color were they?
A lighter blue.
Once you received the pills from Robert Crozier, what did you do?
Text Kouri and told her I was headed back up Provo Canyon. And sorry it was getting late, so what does she want me to do with them?
Okay. Did you text with Kouri Richins on your way back up Provo Canyon to Heber?
Yes.
When you got back up to Heber, what did you do?
Oh, went to my house in Heber.
Did you still have the pills with you?
Yes.
What ultimately did you do with the pills?
Well, it was Nancy that drove me, so I had taken her to my house. Oh, wait, hold on, I'm getting confused. Hold on a sec.
Take a minute.
This is a lot. Hold on. Okay, sorry. You can repeat the question.
So, sure, the second buy from Robert Crozier, you went back up Provo Canyon to your house in Heber. Nancy Peterson was driving, right?
Yeah.
And you had the pills with you when you arrived back at your home in Heber. And the question is, what did you do with the pills?
I had them with me.
Did you hold on to them?
Yes, I did.
For how long?
I had given Nancy a couple for taking me, because that was her drug of choice at the time. Not very long.
What did you do with them?
I reached out to Kouri and asked her what she wanted me to do with them, because I didn't like having them on me.
What did she respond?
That she would come pick them up.
Did she?
Yes, she did.
Where did she pick them up?
In my house, in Heber, in my driveway.
Ms. Lauber, I need you to speak up.
She picked him up in my house, in my driveway, in Heber.
Okay, so we've been through the first purchase from Susan Kohler, then the first purchase from Robert Crozier, the second purchase from Robert Crozier.
Yes.
And that second purchase was the end of February?
Yes.
Before Eric Richins' death, did you buy any other drugs from Robert Crozier?
Yes.
Before Eric Richins died?
Oh, no. They were just... Wait, now you confused me. Can you ask
Sure.
me again?
Ms. Lauber, my apologies. Pause for 1 second. Hold that mic a little closer to you. We're having trouble hearing you. If you would re-ask that question, Mr. Bloodworth, please.
Yes. You testified about 2 drug buys from Robert Crozier, right?
Yes.
Other than those 2 drug buys, before Eric Richins' death, did you ever buy drugs from Robert Crozier before?
Have I ever bought any from him?
Do you remember when Eric Richins died?
Early March.
Before Eric died, how many times did you buy drugs from Robert Crozier?
Twice.
Any more than twice before Eric died?
No,
those
just
2
the
times?
twice.
Before Eric died, have you ever been, other than those 2 times, to the Maverick and Drake?
No.
You just said Eric died in early March, right?
Yes.
Do you recall when you learned that Eric died?
It was one of Doreen's employees that had told me that Eric had passed away.
And do you recall how soon after Eric's death she told you that?
It was a day or 2 after.
Did you ever speak with Kouri Richins about Eric's death?
Yes, I did.
When?
A couple days after.
Where were you when you spoke with Kouri Richins the first time about Eric's death?
I was with my friend Nick, and we were on our way to do a UA for drug court.
Is Nick Bon Savage?
Yes, it is.
And the UA again is a urinalysis.
Yes, it is.
So you and Nick were together. Were you on a way? Were you driving to the UA?
Yes.
When you had that conversation with Kouri Richins about Eric's death, were you on speakerphone?
Yes.
Could Nick hear the conversation?
Yes.
Did you ask Kouri Richins about Eric's death?
Yes, I did.
What did you ask her?
I said, please tell me these pills were not for him.
Did she respond?
She did.
How did she respond?
She said, no, they were not. Eric passed away from a brain aneurysm.
Did there come a time after that conversation where you asked whether Eric died from those pills? Or you asked Kouri Richins whether Eric died from those pills? Did there come a time after that conversation when Kouri Richins again asked you to purchase drugs from her?
Yes.
How did she ask you?
She asked me if I still had the hookup or my friend.
Scott, can I get 2-44? If you look down that column labeled description, Ms. Lauber, do you recognize that as a text exchange between you and Kouri Richins?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Is this an accurate text exchange? An accurate depiction of the text exchange?
Yes, it is.
And did it occur on March the 7th, March the 6th and into the 7th, 2022?
Yes, it is.
Ms. Lauber, you just testified that you had recognized a text exchange between you and Kouri Richins beginning on the 6th of March, continuing on to the 7th of March. Is this that text message exchange?
Yes, it is.
Now, Ms. Lauber, you had testified that Kouri Richins had asked you if you still had your hookup. Is that right?
Yes.
And is that the text message where Ms. Richins asked you if you still had your hookup?
Yes, it is.
And when you received that text message from Kouri Richins, what did you do?
I messaged back to her, text back.
And did you ultimately arrange to buy illicit drugs from Mr. Crozier the third time?
Yes.
After that, do you still have your hookup text exchange? Did you speak with Kouri Richins?
Yes, I did.
And what was that, about a drug buy? What was that conversation about?
That I could reach out to Robbie again.
And how did Kouri Richins respond?
Okay. Same routine.
Same routine.
Mm-hmm.
So, did Kouri Richins then provide you with money to buy drugs?
Yes.
How so?
In the house to Midway.
I'm sorry, I didn't
Wait.
hear you.
Sorry, what?
Did Kouri Richins give you money to buy drugs that last time from Mr. Crozier, right? I'm talking about the third drug buy from Mr. Crozier now, after Eric's dead.
Oh, no. She gave me she told me that the investor would leave money under her doormat at her house.
The investor would leave money under the doormat of her house for you to buy drugs.
Yes, in Camas. Her
Okay.
house in Camas.
So, did you go to her house and pick up that money?
Yes, I was with Nick. Nick drove me.
Okay, is this the same Nick Bond Savage
Yes.
that was in the car when you asked her whether the
Yes.
pills caused Eric's death?
Yes.
So Nick drove you from where?
Nick picked me up in my house in Heber, and then we headed to the backside of Jordanelle to the house in Camas.
Kouri Richins' house in Canada.
Yes, Corey and Eric's house in Camas.
Did you check under the mat at the front door for the money?
Yes, I went to the door, looked at the mat, there was nothing there. So I kind of looked at Nick and kind of shrugged my shoulders and ran around to the back door to see if there was anything under the mat there. There was nothing there, so I ran back to the front. And I kind of threw my hands in the air to Nick, like, what do I do? And I went up and rang the doorbell. It took Corey a minute to get to the door. She answered it. She told me to come inside. I told her the money wasn't there. I gave her a hug and asked how she was doing. And then I told her the money wasn't there. And then she asked if she could write me a check. So then she went over to her kitchen counter and grabbed kind of a book about so big and wrote me a check.
Did she hand you the check?
Yes.
Scott, can we bring up 5-31 for the witness, please? And it's 3 pages. If you could slowly scroll through so she can view all 3 pages, please. Sorry, please through it one more time for me. Ms. Lauber, do you recognize those 3 pages?
Yes, I do.
Do they depict the front of the check, the back of the check, and a deposit slip for the check?
Yes.
Are they authentic depictions?
Yes.
Your Honor, the state moves 531 into evidence.
No objection.
States 5-31 is admitted. Publish.
Yes, Your Honor. Okay, let's zoom in on the check, please. Ms. Lauber, is that the check that Kouri Richins wrote you that morning?
Yes, it is.
In the memo section, do you see where it says construction, clean, midway?
Yes, I do.
Did Kouri Richins owe you any money for any cleaning?
No, she did not.
Did she owe you any money for any construction cleaning?
No, she did not.
Did she owe you any money related to midway?
No, she did not.
Did she owe you any money that would make construction, clean, midway memo make sense?
No, I never cleaned a house ever in my life for $1,300.
Okay. Let's go to second page, please, Scott. Is that the back of the check?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Third place. Third page, please. Okay. Do you recognize that as a deposit slip where you deposited a portion of that check and took out cash for the other?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Please explain how this came about.
I had to go to the bank and cash the check. I was in the negative, so they had me deposit some to clear up my negative balance, and then they gave me the remaining balance of $1,000.
Okay, when did you go to the bank in relation to picking up the check?
The day of.
So you picked up the check,
Yeah, that morning,
you go
yes.
straight to the bank,
Yes, I did.
and who drove you there?
Nick.
Okay. Do you see where the date says March 9th, 2022?
Yes, I do.
Is that the date that you picked up the check, went straight to the bank and deposited it?
Yes.
Deposited 300 of it and took out 1,000 in cash? Does that
Yes, I
sound right?
did. Yes.
Okay. Thanks, Scott. Once you deposited a portion of the check at the bank, cashed the remainder, what did you do next?
Nick and I drove down Provo Canyon, touching bases with Robbie. He said it was taking longer than he thought, so Nick and I went out to a couple of thrift stores.
Where did you go to thrift stores?
In Orem County.
And you said you were texting with Robbie Crozier as you were driving again down through Provo Canyon and as you were in Orem
Same
County?
routine.
Same routine.
Yes.
Were you also texting with Kouri Richins?
Yes, I was.
Did, like before, you meet up with Robert Crozier at that same Maverick and Draper?
Same Maverick off 126, yes.
What happened when you met up with him?
Same routine, but a little bit different. We waited there for a minute. He left for 20 minutes, came back, and said he couldn't get his friend to answer the door if we wanted to follow him. So we followed him down the road to a couple of townhouses or duplexes. I didn't go to the door with him. We parked down the street where we could see what complex he walked into. And then we waited there about 20 minutes to a half hour. And I kept texting him like, hey, this is taking too long. It's too late. I don't like sitting out here. Just wrap it up. Let's go. And then he texts back. He's like, no, I got my friend. He was asleep. I finally woke him up.
Okay, had you already given Robert Crozier money before he went into the townhouse?
Yes.
How much?
The 1,000. Well, no, it was only 900 because Nick got 3. I put 3 in my check and my bank account, and Nick got 3, and then he got the remaining balance.
You know that math does not add up.
Sorry, hold on. Yeah, I put 3 in my account. Nick got 3, so Robbie got the remaining balance.
You got the rest.
Yes.
Can we call that 700?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Sorry, I had to count on my fingers. I'm like, yes.
When Robert Crozier came back out of the townhouse, did he have anything with him?
Yes, he did.
What did he have with him?
clear little baggie with 15 to 20 pills in it.
Same kind of clear little baggie as before?
Yes.
Were the pills round,
Yes.
just like before?
Yes.
What was the color?
A little darker blue.
What did you do once you received the pills from Robert Crozier?
Left.
Where did you go?
Back up Provo Canyon with Nick. Nick had dropped me off. It was late. So Nick had dropped me off. Nick went home. I went into my house. Text Kouri. Told her I have him. What does she want me to do with him? And then same routine back to the Midway house.
Did you text with Kouri Richins back up through the Provo Canyon
Yes.
towards Heber?
Yes.
And then you ultimately left those pills at the Midway house?
Yes. In the closet on the right above. Like you walk in the kitchen and there was a door put on top of the closet.
Is that the same closet where you previously gotten money from?
Yes.
After that, did you ever have any additional drug deals with Robert Crozier?
No, I did not.
Have you ever been back to that Maverick in Draper?
No, I have not.
So am I right that the only 3 times you dealt drugs with Crozier were the 3 that you just testified?
Yes.
And the only 3 times you've been at that Draper Maverick were the 3 times to which you just testified?
Yes.
Did Mr. Crozier continue to hit you up for more drug deals?
Later on, he did. He said that his buddy had some more, and if my friend needed any more.
When he told you that, what did you do?
I reached out to Kouri and told her, "Hey, my friend said that his buddy has more. If your friend needed anything."
How did Kouri Richins respond?
She said no. Her investor had left town.
Thank you, ma'am. I do not have any further questions for you at the moment, but I'm sure defense counsel will, okay?
Okay.